My name is Laura Bennett. I'm 52 years old. After working for 12 years to build the most important thing my company ever made, they fired me and tried to steal all my hard work. But before I tell you how that bad decision ended up costing them hundreds of millions of dollars and got me the best job ever, do me a favor and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. It's always so cool to see how far these stories travel. When my boss told me I was done, she thought she was looking at someone who would just give up and go away quietly. She had no idea she was actually looking at the person who would bring down everything she worked for. For 12 years, my whole life was about a company called Next Tech Solutions. I wasn't just any worker there. I was the main engineer, the most important person behind their biggest moneymaker. It was a computer program called Data Core that could make files much smaller. This was my baby. I built it from nothing. It was beautiful, it worked perfectly, and it helped products that half of America's biggest companies used. My work made Nextech famous and successful. But if you sat in their big meetings, you'd never know I did anything. All the credit went to my manager, Claudia Harper. She was younger than me, really good at talking to people, and had a special talent for making my amazing discoveries sound like they were her smart ideas. I would watch her use my own slides and my own information in meetings with our big boss, Nathan Pierce. He would nod and look impressed, while I just sat in the corner like I was invisible. I was the engine that made everything work, but nobody knew it. The way they treated me badly happened slowly over time, but when they really betrayed me, it hit like lightning. It wasn't like someone accidentally sent me the wrong email. This was much colder and more planned out. It started with little things. Suddenly, I couldn't get into an important part of our computer system that I needed for my work. "Oh, it's just a computer problem," they said. Then Claudia started having important meetings about our plans, and I wasn't invited to any of them. I knew something was very wrong. I'm a computer engineer. I'm really good at noticing patterns and figuring out when things don't make sense. One night, I felt really worried and scared in my stomach, so I used a special computer program I had written to check who was looking at what files on our servers. And that's when I saw it. A folder I shouldn't have been able to see. It was called Project Sunset. My blood felt like ice water. Inside that folder was a detailed plan. It explained how they would make me teach everything I knew to a group of younger workers. Then they would change my job at the end of the next few months. They were going to squeeze every last bit of knowledge out of my brain and then throw me away like garbage. I closed my laptop and walked out to my car. My legs felt so heavy, I could barely walk. I sat in the driver's seat, looking at the cold lights of the office parking lot. The full weight of what was happening hit me like a truck. 12 years of my life, my best ideas, all those late nights working. It felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I let myself cry exactly one tear down my cheek. Just one. Then I wiped it away. The hurt was still there, but something else was growing underneath it. Cold, hard determination to fight back. The next day, I talked to the smartest young engineer I had taught, Ben Carter. I asked him casually about his new project. He told me that Claudia had him writing down all my important work processes for backup purposes. That was all I needed to hear. The game was on. My first move wasn't to go to human resources. It wasn't to go to Nathan. It was to call a lawyer who specialized in protecting people's ideas and inventions. I explained what was happening. Yes, the main data core program belonged to the company, but over the last year and a half, working on my own time on my own powerful personal computer, I had created some amazing improvements that made the program work 38% better. That part was mine. I had all the computer records, the timestamps, and proof that I developed it all by myself. My lawyer was a smart woman named Miss Davies. She listened carefully to everything I said. She didn't make fake promises to make me feel better. "Laura," she said in a clear voice over the phone, "what you create on your own time, using your own computer, belongs to you. But we need to officially claim it before they try to steal it." She explained her plan, something called a provisional patent application. It was fast, didn't cost too much money, and it would give me a legally recognized date when I officially claimed my work. This would prove I owned it before Nextech could try to steal it. It was the perfect move, a quiet but deadly checkmate that they would never see coming. While the legal paperwork was being filed, I did the second part of my plan. I didn't just look for any new job. I was looking for a partner to help me fight back. I researched every rival company boss in our industry. My eyes landed on Emily Ruiz, the CEO of CoreTech Innovations. I had read articles about her. She used to be an engineer just like me, and she was famous for protecting and celebrating her smart tech workers. She was the complete opposite of Nathan Pierce. I spent a whole week preparing a presentation. I wasn't just offering her my algorithm improvements. I was offering her a vision, a roadmap to jump ahead of Nextech and control the market within 2 years. I wasn't looking for someone to save me. I was offering to make her the queen of our industry. My email to her was short and confident. It wasn't me begging for a job. It was me proposing we become partners to build something amazing together. She replied in less than an hour. We set up a meeting right away. The call from Human Resources finally came 2 weeks after I found that secret memo. I walked into the glass-walled conference room. Claudia was there with the head of HR. She couldn't quite hide the smug, satisfied look on her face. "Laura," she said, with fake sadness dripping from every word, "as you know, the company is moving in a new, more innovative direction. We've decided to eliminate your job." I just nodded. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I let the silence hang in the air as I got up to leave. Claudia put her hand on my arm. She said, "Don't take it personally. It's just business."
I looked her straight in the eyes and gave her a small, tight smile. I understand completely. An hour later, I was sitting in a warm, bright coffee shop downtown. Across from me sat Emily Ruiz. There was no corporate double talk or business nonsense. We talked about computer code, about our vision for the future, about what we wanted to build. She instantly saw how valuable my work was. More than that, she saw how valuable I was as a person. We didn't just talk about a job. We talked about making me Chief Technology Officer, a real seat at the important decision-making table. By the time our coffee got cold, we were shaking hands on the deal. The contract was signed before the day was over. I spent Friday packing 12 years of my life into a single cardboard box, and on Monday, I was ready to unpack my future. Monday morning in the main meeting room at Nextech headquarters, Nathan Pierce was in the middle of a victory speech to his leadership team. I can just picture it, him praising Claudia's bold vision and the necessary but effective restructuring that would make the company leaner and more agile. Right in the middle of his self-congratulation, a board member's phone buzzed. He looked down and his eyes went wide. He stood up, interrupting the CEO mid-sentence. "Nathan," he said, his voice shaky, "you need to see this." He put his phone screen up on the big display for everyone to see. It was a press release from CoreTech Innovations. The headline was like a bomb exploding. CoreTech secures exclusive license for groundbreaking algorithm from creator Laura Bennett, appoints her as new CTO. Below the headline was my picture, professional, confident. And then came the kill shot, the line my lawyer and I had crafted so carefully. The deal centers on a series of proprietary efficiency upgrades secured under U.S. Provisional Patent Application Number 63XXX, filed by Ms. Bennett.
with the date from 2 weeks earlier. A silence like a tomb fell over the room. It wasn't just a press release. It was a legal declaration of war. They hadn't just lost an employee. They had lost control of the future of their most important product. I could almost hear the blood draining from Nathan's face. He turned to Claudia, his eyes no longer full of praise, but pure, undiluted fury. The golden child's halo had just melted away. In the corner of the screen, a stock ticker showed the first trade of the day for Nextech. It was a vertical red line plunging downward. My phone rang about 10 minutes later. It was Nathan. His voice was a strangled mix of rage and disbelief. "Laura, what have you done? That algorithm is company property." I let him finish his angry rant. When he was done, I replied, my voice perfectly calm. "That's a question for your legal team, Nathan. Mine is copied on everything." I hung up before he could respond. The final domino fell an hour later. Ben Carter sent his resignation email to HR. Then he forwarded it to the 4 other senior engineers I had personally taught and mentored over the years. His message was simple. "I'm with Laura. We're building the future at CoreTech. The door is open." It wasn't a mass exodus. It was a quiet, professional, and utterly devastating extraction of the entire core of Nextech's technical expertise. Their company wasn't just in chaos. Its heart had been surgically removed. A year later, the dust has settled. Or rather, it settled for me. Under my leadership as CTO, CoreTech's new product suite built on my enhanced algorithm has blown past all projections. We captured 20% of Nextech's market share in the first 6 months. Their stock never fully recovered. Nathan and Claudia were both forced out by the board within 3 months. Last month, I gave the keynote speech at the industry's biggest tech summit. My topic was owning your value, intellectual property in the modern age. I saw my story reflected in the eyes of so many women in the audience. After the speech, a young female engineer came up to me. "Your story inspired me to start keeping a detailed personal log of my work. Thank you." In that moment, I knew I'd won more than just a legal battle. As for Nextech, they were forced to sign a multi-million-dollar licensing deal with CoreTech to continue using the technology I created. And deep in the fine print of that contract is a clause I insisted on. On all public documentation, the data core algorithm must now be officially credited to lead architect Laura Bennett. They didn't just have to pay me, they had to say my name. So now I sit in my new office, not sketching on a company whiteboard, but in a simple leather-bound notebook. On the cover, there are no corporate logos, just my initials, LB. They tried to erase my name from my work, but they forgot a fundamental truth. You can't steal the mind that creates it. That belongs to me. And it's just getting started. And that's my story. Thanks so much for listening. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever had a moment at work where you knew you had to stand up for your own value, big or small? How did you handle it? Your stories give strength to so many others. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more stories about turning the tables and claiming your power. Thanks again for being here.